When I make music, I get scared or anxious, which always stops me finishing anything. I'm so with you here. In fact, I am right now because what I'm about to tell you I've never revealed publicly before. So you already know something about my first ever musical project with my mate Andy, who went on to be one half of Groove Armada. We were in a pretty successful band called Beat Foundation. But what you don't know was that while we were pretty successful, we were nearly very successful. Within a couple of years of releasing our first tracks, we got put into a studio by Virgin Records' dance department. Just before this, Virgin had had massive success by signing Daft Punk. So the A&R guy had organised for us to work with one of the drummers and producers of Adam and the Ants, for the older amongst you, and another guy who'd worked with Paul McCartney amongst many others. So things were looking up. Things were looking up until Andy got signed by another major with Groove Armada. And without Andy, of course, we weren't a band anymore, so our thing never happened and it got dropped. Now, as you can appreciate, this was pretty hard for me because while I didn't blame Andy in any way, he absolutely did the right thing. It was still a battle for me personally to come to terms with. In short, my confidence took a massive, almost terminal knock, to be honest. Actually, I'm somewhat ashamed to say that what was even harder was that Groove Armada's music became incredibly popular. So right now I want you to imagine an enormous disappointment in your life. Something where you can't escape the fact that whatever it was failed. Now, just imagine being reminded of this failure every time you turn on the TV or radio for a few years. That's what happened to me. Because for a good few years, Groove Armada's output was the backing for a load of TV programmes and adverts in the UK. Nearly every night I was subjected to this unwelcome reminder of what hadn't become, what wasn't. So this was pretty tough, and again I have to stress, in no way do I blame this on Andy. But for me, it was one of the hardest lessons I've ever had to learn. Just imagine attempting to finish a piece of music on your own with that hanging over you. Because this massive disappointment left me feeling scared and anxious. I didn't want to experience that disappointment ever again. You know when you've had a really bad experience, you sometimes get panicky when anything like it seems like it might happen, or even when you think about doing something vaguely like it again. For a long time, this is how I felt about making music, while I was attempting to make a living from it. So I'm with you. I felt the fear, I felt the anxiety. To be honest, I felt the sheer unadulterated terror. But believe me, all of these feelings are temporary. If you learn how you work, how your brain works, how fear works, any of it can be overcome. Because it is you creating these feelings, if you know how, you can change them.